Hello, Giraffe. So let me try to explain something to you. Uh, explain something. So there is no question marks in your text here, but I think there is a question hidden here. The question, I think the question is, should we close maybe this issue because you say that the implementation works, uh, and if I'm not closing the issue, that your second question might be that am I not closing the issue because we need some polishing, some refactoring, uh, and basically what you should do next, right? And you also are putting forth a discussion about the complexities of building the IP. So you know a lot of hidden questions actually here. And I just woke up and in a good mood, and I like, oh cool, I will explain it. But I haven't prepared in any way, so I will be thinking on my feet, and to take a pause, without boring you too much. I will be using this instrument, this little experiment. Maybe it will help you. Will be it will allow to think without boring you and other people too much. And by the way, it might be a cool idea if we answer this live. So instead of just talking, right? I can answer this in text, but also do this on video. It's actually been said that the user IP has been hard to implement. By the way, um, there is a principle to my madness. There is a method to my madness. Uh, I'm filming the videos because I think, as a psychologist, I was working for a long time uh, on this problem of online communication. Maybe not so long, maybe a few months actually, long for me. Uh, but I've come to this idea that text communication is fundamentally flawed because the fundamental attribution error comes into play much more often and much more easily when we communicate through text. So online text communication without falling into this trap is an art, and we have studies, a lot of research showing that online text communication leads to high anxiety, to depression. So it's bad for your health. Simply to switch to communicating by text instead of going the good old way in communicating face to face. And by the way, in Agile, in Scrum, they got this, they say the best communication is face to face. So this is why I'm always when it seems worth it, I always go and make a video because this allows to communicate much better on the emotional level. At least it allows to synchronize if you want to, right? Uh, so I've been there when Mark say this. Mm, been there, done that. Some opinions. So first of all, I didn't quite. So it is a warning sign to me when a person says, "Oh, IP is hardest," like Mark did back then. IP is the hardest part of my library. It is a warning sign to me because if it is the hardest part, then maybe you should refactor it to be simplest part, to be simple part. Uh, understand, maintain. So I will leave it at that. Basically, in text, I will leave it at that, and I will say just by voice that if it is so hard to understand this, maybe chaining is a convenience, but it is a convenience that comes with a cost, and it is sometimes better to keep things simple. Yeah, there is this principle in design, as you well know it. Right, if the chaining gives us trouble, maybe we should just use a simple API, and simple API again. It is this question is a can of worms because why is it hardest thing? Um, uh, so I see a lot of hidden questions here. Uh, Let me try to address. Let me share my opinion maybe on some of them. Uh, so why are we not closing this API? This is in fact a map issue. But when I was defining this map issue, I had a lot of thoughts. It's kind of a result of a complex computation. So this text is in turn might be complex, and the videos I made might be complex. So I will try now to simplify it and describe it in simple terms to give you an example. What I mean by saying that this is a map issue, a map that it hangs on a map. So basically, where are you started? You are started as I know gun. I use gun. You have started with inherent knowledge of gun, right? And then you moved to uh, Add part. So already you have a lot of knowledge, and knowledge as define this quote. I want to remember this quote better, so it helps me to find the quote and quote it in order to bring it up in my memory. So it is a win-win. I remember this quote and maybe I also share it. Documents don't transfer knowledge. So it's Peter Senge said. Peter Senge said that documents. I'd like to quote. So it says it's a quote of a quote by Oliver Sacks. Sorry, not Oliver Sacks. Oliver Sass. Oliver Sass. So it's a good video actually. Very good video. I like it a lot. Interview with Oliver Haas. And he quotes in turn Peter Peter Senge, who says that documents don't share knowledge. How paradox it is, because when we want to share knowledge, we make readmes, PDFs, manual pages, inline documentation, literal programming. How, how how bold it is to say that these do not share knowledge. But this goes back a bit to where we started, that I'm making videos to share knowledge. Because if I simply write a text, it's just another thing for me to parse, and it fails in keeping things simpler. Uh, uh, so the more we write of documentation, the more complex it gets. So it's one of the angles of why documents don't share knowledge. Instead, a lot of knowledge is uh, in, in proprioception, for example, in a spatial cognition, in how we feel and how we move through the world. And this knowledge, it's very important, and we don't have, we can only walk somebody through our code, for example. We code and we can say to our colleague, hey, hey, come here. I want to show you something. Oh, look at my code here. Look how cool it is. Look what it does. It gets this and it puts this and suddenly you have this and a problem solved. So, and maybe he doesn't understand the problem intellectually, but he already understands it much better than before on some other level, right? And on this level, he will not understand it for maybe years. He might need years to share your fascination with the invention you just produced. He might need years of uh, experience of looking at this particular problem to catch up with you. And now, just with a few words in a live communication, you shared this part of knowledge. Uh, uh, So basically, you have a lot of knowledge and knowledge that you can't even easily share through a document. Uh, and where I start, uh, I designed some databases and implemented some databases. And I invented some novel principles of database design, but haven't tried some of them yet. So this is where I am. I have some novel principles of database designed in my hand. And then suddenly I see that some of these principles match something that Mark describes in his videos. So Mark shares some knowledge in his videos. And did I understand what Mark said? Nah, I didn't, because I know it's premature for me to try to understand him like 100% sure. It is simply not efficient. I want to go into the code and play with it, and then truly understand what he means. But already we have some transfer of knowledge happening. So I am kind of like here. So I moved a bit towards the understanding. So uh, basically, to even look at your code and and I don't I have no intention as of now to look at your code as a user, because I'm going to tinker with it. My plan is to tinker with it and to improve on Mark designs, um, actually. Uh, Well, first of all, I want to gauge for myself what's going on then, and then maybe we'll see. Maybe we can make something simpler if the complexity is unnecessary. Some things there is a lot of optimization that might happen, because what I've seen so far in the port where we simply translate JavaScript, it's from the performance perspective, it's uh, it it doesn't mean we have a Rust port. When we simply translate the JavaScript structures and heap allocations to Rust, it doesn't make it a Rust port. Because Rust is different in how it allows you to organize memory through borrow checking and safe aliasing, through structures that don't need to be allocated on the heap, through small strings optimizations, for example. Uh, it allows you to do things very differently, and this is where the Rust port begins, where performance will hopefully start to appear. But if we simply uh, uh, do in Rust what we do in JavaScript, there is no actual difference, because the processor goes through the same, the CPU, the computer processors has to go through the same hoops it went in JavaScript. So the difference isn't that apparent. So if we like want to promote, so oh cool, we have a Rust port, it's super fast. We need to go through the optimization first, right? So somewhere there is optimization. And optimization will have to go with a lot of redesign because of how things are. Hopefully this already answers you why I'm not closing this issue. Simply because I'm not there to close the issue. I have to cover this remaining distance, and I am simply not there. And I'm not going there. I'm not going to catch up with you because I have a different path in mind, right? I have a path uh, of doing tracing first, of doing tracing. And if you will help me with tracing, I've asked some other people to help me also with tracing. And tracing, in turn, needs some observable graphics because I want to use them. Uh, and I have a colleague here who wanted to help me with observable graphics. So I'm simply busy with other things right now. I'm trying to uh, fix Sidekick downtimes. It's a very popular bot with a lot. And by the way, it's lying down now. I have to get it up. So it's long. This video is going longer than I hoped it would. Than I planned, but you know about plans. Uh, so I'm going through tracing. And why I'm going through tracing? Because I want to understand things really, really well. So well that I can explain them. And I will be going through your code, through JavaScript code, but I will be going in a very comfortable pace, in a pace that will allow me to understand things um, on a level designers, software designers need to understand it. So it's my approach, but in this approach I am slowly, and I might be like some philosopher like Chuang Tzu. I might be like Chuang Tzu uh, who sits on a stone somewhere and thinks of a butterfly and thinks, am I a butterfly dreaming of being a philosopher? Uh, it might take time for me to, in this comfortable pacing and between other projects, to go through this understanding of GAN on the design level. And uh, I'm not in such a hurry to prioritize this over some other things I do, getting Sidekick with thousands of people are currently can't use our bot because it's down and it might be a bit of a higher priority for me than porting the gun and understanding. So hopefully this explains to you that we are in a different locations and maybe we need a map in order to understand where people are and what they are doing here. And then your question will be maybe obvious the answer to it, that I am simply in a different place. And in order for me to close the issue, I have to move through the map, through the spatial. Uh, have to move through the space and meet you at some point. And then I say, oh yes, now I see, now I understand, now I can close this issue. Uh, so if you want to close it early, like you did before with abstractions, if you want to close it early and grab the bounty, then go ahead. I don't mind, but it is also not my plan. Uh, and of course, we can approach things differently. So has been nice talking to you and to the rest of people, and I will post this in a gun Discord. Uh, have a good day. Have a super good day. Uh, communicate better. And I see Mark did a very interesting video today on YouTube. Congratulations, kudos with that. I can't wait to watch it.